Today we actually did a Friday debate, which we did all the time last year, but this is actually our first one that we've done so far this year. And we talked about corporal punishment. What is corporal punishment? It's physical punishment for an offense, anywhere from a parent giving their toddler a small pat on the bottom as a punishment for something, or all the way up through torture and execution. Any physical punishment for a crime. Why are we talking about this? Well, of course, the Middle Ages was pretty famous for all their torturing that they did, which luckily we don't do too much of anymore. They had the stocks, of course. They would put people in the rack where you'd get pulled. They had all these things like the Iron Maiden you may have seen in Despicable Me. They had a torture where they would put rats in a cage on your stomach, and the cage had no bottom, and they would put live coals on the top of the cage, and the heat from the live coals would make the rats have discomfort, and the rats would escape the burning heat by burrowing down through you. They had these that they would put you out in there exposed to the weather and the elements. This was called the pear, which they'd put in your mouth and turn the screw until it opened inside of your mouth. And of course, thumb screws, which would crush your fingers. Just a lot of excruciatingly painful things. So we talked a little bit about medieval punishment and justice. And then we talked mostly about corporal punishment in schools and how in a lot of countries, America included, back in the day, teachers or principals would paddle students or hit students for misbehaving, and we don't do that anymore. And we talked about how that is still done in some countries, and whether we're happy and glad that we live in a time when this doesn't happen because it can be damaging, and how we feel about that, or is this what's lacking in American schools because there's a lot of disorder or people mouthing off, so maybe this is something we should look at bringing back. And we talked a lot about that today.